Every day I am blasted with unwarranted and unasked for advice from photographers who live in their portrait studios. They tell me what I need and what I should try. Little do they know, their photography-related knowledge applies very little to none to my video-related life. And today I will roast you on an open fire.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
Not a lot of people know this, but photographers are just dead birds that came back in this life. And since they can't fly and they're angry at it, they take pictures of beautiful things that they wish they once were in another life. But they're no longer that thing, and you've drawn the line and crossed it one too many times in my videos. Offering me advice for photography seems good in your heart. Well-meaning are these photographers, even though they're dead birds. But it doesn't really apply to my video-centric lifestyle, does it? No, it doesn't. Let's first talk about stabilization, because this is the biggest one. People suggest all the time that I try this combo. Hey, have you ever tried the Nikon Z6 II with the 500 PF? Oh my God. Could you imagine it? It would suck for video. It would be amazing for photos because lens stab is a tricky beast. Here's the thing. You have a native glass with IBIS and it's designed to work together. Take the Fuji X-T4 70-300. It's synced in perfect unity. It's like, wow, this is designed for each other. Take a Tamron. It's still a native lens, unusable. They weren't given the protocols. These third-party lenses don't speak to the IBIS. They're doing their own thing while the IBIS is doing something different, and they're like frowning at each other. Like, what are you doing? I'm out here doing this. This is the movement here. And then the lens is like, no, like this. Like, fuck you both. You're not doing the same thing unless you are synced. That's why third-party lenses suck. And adapted lenses suck. So Nikon Z-mount has an adapter that you can use F-mount lenses on. Wow, this is great. There's so many great reviews by photographers saying this autofocus is just as good. Stabilization, I can shoot down to 1/40th of a shutter. No, you can't. Not if a fucking animal's moving, you dickhead. Calm down. They mean well. They're just dead birds. They can't hurt you now. So this F-glass, the stab don't work for video. It's very different. So like your F-glass, wow, 500 PF, amazing stab. Through an adapter to a Z-mount with IBIS now? No, it ain't working. You need Z-mount lenses and they only have one, 100-400. And that 800 beast, don't tell me I wouldn't mind seeing that thing. 800 mil, Tony, it's 6.3 or something? That sounds fun. It's heavy, but not too heavy. Prime suck though, side rant. I get a lot of prime suggestions. It's not that they're terrible. They are actually better, but I don't know, man. For wildlife, like the zoom is so nice to have. There are moments where you want the wider shot. It's much easier to find, zoomed out and then boom. Primes, that's such a handicap. Like you're stuck with one shot. That's like street photography. I get it. It's like, oh, here, zoom with your feet. Yeah, when I do, the animal leaves the area. I'm noisy, and I'm not as camouflaged as my microphone. So it's on this side. What's that? Nothing. But I tell you, it's a completely different ballgame. Now with the Fuji, I'm trying to take some pictures for my Instagram. You can subscribe down below, and I will ignore your direct messages. That's fun. So I'm starting to take photos. I used to take them all the time until I got a camera channel for some reason, then I just stopped. Maybe it was the fear of trying. I was afraid to try and be judged. But now I'm an expert in my own mind. And so I'm in Fuji territory doing video, and then I switch to stills, and I'm still in auto shutter and auto ISO. And it's like, why are my photos all blurry? Oh, this sucks. Fuji, you suck. And I'm looking at the files and they're like 400th of a shutter for that flying bird. Yeah, no problem. Same with the Canon. I was in aperture priority. I took a bunch of photos and every single one was like motion blurred. It sucked. And I look at the files and it's like 1/50th of a shutter. It's like, thanks, Canon. So like you have to take control. You actually have to know things. And the funny thing is the Fuji dials actually are coming in handy now that I'm a photographer. Behind the camera, it's just like I shoot into stills, move that little dial to like 2,000th, maybe 1,000 sometimes. Higher the better. Bow. Bird in flight. Bow. It's like, oh wow, I freeze it now. It's funny how different it is though. So like in wildlife, you want super high shutter to freeze the action. Whereas in video, it's the opposite. You want the friendly motion blur in smooth video. So that's like, you can't even get it without an ND filter. It's like so different. So you photographer minds trying to help me. Hey, look, there's a tree. Oh, what a shot. Brown bark with a blue sky? Who's gonna believe this? Oh, that doesn't look as good as I thought. What if I could just replace the sky with the Milky Way? I'm a photographer now. You're a loser. When it comes to autofocus, completely different ballgame. With your adapted glass, you're noticing, wow, it's acquisizing this focus spot immediately. Wow, this is so quick. Autofocus works amazing. I've tested it. Hey, Camera Conspiracies, you should use this combo. I've tested the autofocus for pictures once. It should work fine for continually tracking a bird through twigs. That's fine. You'll be fine. Autofocus doesn't work the same. In photos and video, if you just did photos, you would be under the impression that Panasonic autofocus was desirable and quick. You'd be like, wow, look how snappy, so much faster than my full frame. Panasonic leads the industry. I'm just going to switch into video. Oh, what is happening? What are all those things in the back? There's pulsing. Oh, it's guessing. It's constantly losing. What is this? Oh, photographers, why? So Panasonic's dirty freak dinosaur autofocus doesn't work well in video, and most autofocus with adapted glass or third-party lenses. Nice photo, fast. Not for video though. I have two more rants in mind for this video. The first one, I released that Canon 800mm Tony 11 versus Sony G Master 100-400 2x teleconverter 800mm Tony 11 equivalent. I was like, whoa, look at that. That could be fun. And everyone's like, that's unfair, bro. The Sony lens is so much more expensive, but the Canon lens was sharper, bitch. It's unfair. Your birth was unfair to the world. Yeah, I said it. I don't have a vault filled with camera equipment that I can just go into. Okay, this will be the perfect comparison. It's the exact budget. Do you realize the strings I have to pull to get anything around here? I saw an open box deal. I was like, boom, that's all we got. Okay. I wanted the 100-500, obviously. Good luck finding that in an open box or even new. Impossible. Impossible. So this was a cool experiment in my mind, and it was fine. Did we learn anything? Not much. Not much. Not a lot. It's just funny. Every comparison I do, no matter what it is, somebody's going to say, oh, that's not fair. You should have tried this. I don't have that. Or I might have. That's why there's a lack of comparisons like this. Canon R5 with the 100-500. I want to see what's that like versus the Sony A1 with the 100-400 and the 200-600. Can you bring all those? Who's going to own both? That's like $50,000 worth of gear in Canadian money, which doesn't even count. Some people are just dicks about it. It's like, oh, what a useless comparison. You should have tested this. You know what else was useless? The condom your dad should have used before you came into this world. Yeah. My last rant and possibly biggest sin of any photographer is suggesting to me to get a video camera to shoot video. Obviously, it's a video camera. You haven't researched a book in your life. You've never seen a library. You were born in a bookless society in the sewers. Camcorders offer so little in today's world for the cost. You get something like a 1-inch sensor, $4,000 4K 60p, 1-inch sensor, fixed lens, no tonne, small sensor look, big and chunky, XLR mounts. I don't even need audio, it's slow motion. I make music. I made a video a long time ago called Dear Photographers, which suggests you take your head out of the sand and peek around sometimes in our modern day world where camcorders are irrelevant. They offer nothing to my life or yours. They're so niche a product that is barely sold that there's no like research and development going in. Like they're completely irrelevant to mirrorless cameras nowadays. They don't have the telephoto glass. It's always like a fixed giant zoom, like 24 to 400 type of thing. Bad quality glass when you go that range. But mirrorless cameras are the best for video now. These are video cameras. I'm so sorry you're holding one while taking pictures with it for some reason. Flip the switch to video and wow, look at all those options. You're holding the video camera. These are the best. So photographers, you suck. Your advice is terrible, irrelevant, ancient, expensive, bullshit, terrible. You're bad people. You deserve sandwiches that were not balanced properly. Too much condiments. Not enough of the good stuff. Overpriced, weren't they? So every day I get these suggestions. You should try this. Send it to me then, and I'll try it. Because your advice just cost me $43,000. Guaranteed. I almost pounced on the Leica 200 Prime. $24.99 with the 1.4 times teleconverter. Canadian. Used. It's so much more expensive new. I can't believe how expensive that thing is. But imagine that on an EM1 III. Fixed 1080p, slow-mo, single focus. It would hurt. I'm going to leave. After you buy a Camera Conspiracies t-shirt. Stop leaving me terrible advice. Please.